Hello, everybody. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about mediumship and how mediumship is different than trance channeling and also conscious channeling. A lot of people do get it confused. So that is what we are going to cover today. And I love mediumship because this is where I started getting to understand the energy of mediumship. And whenever you begin mediumship, you get into your head. A lot of people do. So, let me go ahead and tell you what a couple of definitions with mediumship is in the world of spiritualism. The term medium refers to a person with psychic ability to produce a phenomena of a physical or mental nature by communicating with spirits. And the reason why I love doing this service or giving this service to others who are grieving, because this is a part of the grieving process. And a lot of times they just want to make sure that their loved ones are okay. So with mediumship, yes, you're connecting with someone who has crossed over and you're receiving information to give to your client who is wanting to hear from their loved one. Now, a lot of times I'll have somebody sit across from me and say, you know what? I want this person to come through. I want to hear from this person, this person, this person, which is wonderful. And which I'm glad that they want to hear from this person. But sometimes spirit has a different method. So I always tell my clients I will do the best I can. I cannot guarantee who comes across, but I will let you know that whoever comes across is the spirit or the loved one who has the message for you. And then what I do is I open it up and I raise up my energy. And I'll explain about psychic readings as well. So I do raise up my energy and I always do my intention. Please help me connect to the loved one who really needs to talk to my client in love and light, and also for healing. So I always set the intention to heal my client. And then what you do, instead of getting in your head, you start listening. And what I hear is telepathically, I can hear the voice of the other person in my voice, though, of course. And then sometimes they'll show me pictures, and we're going to talk about the clairs in just a few minutes. But that's how. And again, when to clear my mind, a lot of times I will doodle or I'll write down what they're telling me. Now, for a client with mediumship, is it's also kind of letting them know that life goes on, and that is just so much more, a great message to have, knowing that life goes on. And so, and every medium is different. Now, to let you know, I am not good with names in person. I cannot remember people's names. I can always remember their face, but not a name. So, yes, in mediumship, I have difficulty hearing the name. Sometimes, if it is very, very important, spirit will let me know what name that they're wanting me to hear, and then it will come across, which is so surprising and which is wonderful. But and I can give birth dates. I can give anything that the client needs. But what's really important are the memories, because the memories is what is really special to your clients. And that is where you go, they start crying, they have an ah moment. And so to me, memories are so important because anybody can look up when their birth date is, or where they died or what they died of. So there's different ways that you can do this, and everybody has different strengths as a medium. And mine is definitely memories. Now there is one thing that comes across. Another thing that can happen is your client can hear what you're saying, but really not make the connections. And they'll be going, I don't really understand what you're saying. I don't know. I don't remember. And this is called psychic amnesia. So they're not remembering. So I write down everything I'm saying so that they have this. And one time I had a client that said, I have no idea who this is or who you were talking to. And I was even ready to give her money back. And she goes, oh, no, 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 it's okay. I've enjoyed. So she took the paper, went to tell a friend that was still at the same fair, the holistic fair. And her friend knew exactly who this was. So they both came back to the table and they go, oh my gosh, we know who this is now. So you're going to have a lot of that. And so I just let spirit, control. But anyway, so that is mediumship. So let me tell you what the difference is with mediumship and psychic. So psychic is whenever I take my energy and I connect in with my client's energy. It's a soul to soul connection. And it is so much easier. I will tell you that, to do a psychic reading than it is to do a mediumship reading, because I have to get my energy so much higher. So with a psychic, it is a connection. Now, you don't need cards. A lot of people, I started with cards as well, and it gave me direction. It gave me symbolism. Clients love cards. I love to see the pictures. But you can still do it without the cards, because you are actually activating the cards, and it's your energy and also your higher self that's picking out the cards. So, and getting information from your client. So that is the difference with psychic. Now with trance channeling, I will tell you that your energy goes up even higher, but you're connecting in with a different entity who is not necessarily with a client, is just wanting to get a message across. So it is totally different with trance channeling. Now, there are some mediums that can trance channel and also do the physical mediumship with spirit, doing regular mediumship. So you can combine it, okay? And it's so fascinating to watch, because they can morph into the loved one that their client is wanting to connect with. So you can combine these things. It doesn't have to be separate. But if you're just beginning into the spiritual world and you're wanting to figure out what your intuitive gifts are, it's really good to start with the basics and then figure out which one is your gift, which one can you combine. Because I love combining with channeling, with trance channeling, mediumship, and psychic readings now. And that way I can get to the Akashic records as well. And I absolutely love that. To me, my readings have gotten so much stronger. So let's go ahead and go over the clairs, especially for those that are beginning, because a lot of times you're going, okay, I don't understand that. Well, everybody has spidey senses. So we have, of course, senses that we can see, smell, hear, with, feel, touch, everything, kinesthetically, so forth. So you do have psychic senses, and everybody does. It just depends on which one you are strength with, of course. So like clairaudience is knowing, and this is usually the very first one that you pick up whenever you're becoming a psychic medium, okay? So people who use the claircognizance sense will know about ideas and incidents before they happen. The divine spirit guides or higher self may give them this information as a way to guide them. So sometimes you just know, or you think about somebody and they call you. So it's just a knowing that something is going to happen. All right, clairsentience is people who use clairsentience are perceiving information by a feeling within their whole body and without any stimuli reacted to feeling or information. So sometimes when you meet somebody and you have this icky feeling, follow that intuition. Okay, your senses are working. So really follow that. And I feel like this is a very important sense for kids to have, especially. Okay, so clairvoyant, this is my favorite one. And I am so strong in this area. So people will get intuitive information from visual images such as colors, pictures, symbols, or moving pictures, as if you were watching a movie. And I know whenever I first started, one of my teachers said, oh, you'll be able to see a movie. And I'm going, okay. And it never happened. Only pictures would appear. But now it's kind of morphed into something else. And it is sometimes a video, and it goes very quickly. And sometimes you get some strange things, and go ahead and tell your client what you see, because don't try to interpret it. Your client can do that. okay? Because you're going to get some strange things that may not mean anything to you, but will mean something to your client. So clairaudience is another strength of mine, and that's how I can do automatic writing. Is people who use the sense will perceive sound, words, and extrasensory noise. The sounds come from the spiritual world or the ethereal realm in the form of inner ear or mental tone. And what threw me off is I could hear my own voice. So I didn't think, I thought it was just me thinking. But sometimes, okay, so let me tell you one instance. I was watching a movie, and I was in a movie theater. And all of a sudden, I had this grandmother scream at me, "You need to tell my granddaughter that everything's going to be okay." And I mean, it was loud. And I mean, it's just like, and I kind of figured out what was going on. This was before I did my boundaries. And I said, okay, but you need to let me watch this movie. So I knew who her granddaughter was and everything. And she let me watch the movie. But sometimes it comes across really strong, or sometimes it's like, okay, you need to speak up a little bit, because sometimes you'll get the real soft speaking spirits that want to tell you something, and they're like whispering, and I'm going, okay, you've got to and you can tell them, please get louder so I can hear you and become a better channeler. So you can tell them that. Okay, so clairsent is a lot of people can will operate using spiritual vibration. The aromas will be brought forth straight from otherworldly realms, from memories, vision, and spirits. So it's not unusual for someone to start smelling smoke when they're doing a reading, and that may indicate that whoever they're talked to used to smoke. So I absolutely love this. I love this one. Now, the Clairaudience, I'm glad I don't have. So sometimes you're able to feel tasting something physically without anything being in your mouth. And I read somewhere where a lady was doing a reading, and she was talking to a spirit who got murdered by drinking poison, and she could actually taste the poison. And so, it just really depends on your senses and the situation. So, clairaudience is whenever it's psychometry. So, whenever you can put an object like glasses into your hand, and you can get information from a person who used to own the glasses. So you can get information. And that is not one of my strengths, but I am so amazed when people are able to do that. So clair empathy or empaths, now, everybody that is psychic, mediums, trance channelers, they have the empathy, okay? Empaths, you can feel everybody around you. So empaths are sensitive to the energetic vibrations of the emotion or physical illness of people, and it will wear you out. So you've got to protect yourself. That's a different video altogether. So let me show you, whenever I started mediumship, because I kept getting into my head and I kept thinking about it, I decided, well, I can doodle and get things out of my head. So I started spiritual art with it. And I haven't done it in a while. I mean, this was like 2020 whenever I did these characters. And I would only have 30 minutes to do this. So it was very draining on me, especially if I have 6 people in a row at a holistic fair. So I would use a lot of pencils, colored pencils, whenever I did this, and a lot of chalk, pastels. Okay. And so how I would do this is I would listen to the spirit, the loved one, tell me what they used to look like. So I would start with the hair color, and whatever color is being pulled to, if it was brown and I was being pulled to brown, I would pick up the brown color. And then if the nose was too small or too big, they would tell me I didn't have a big nose like that. So then I would have to make it smaller. Or I want to wear earrings. Now, the lady on the right, she's wearing earrings, her hair is pulled back and everything. And she was showing me Victorian lady. And I'm going, okay, I don't understand if you were during the Victorian era, but she wanted me to show that she was someone who lived during the Victorian era. And you can see the writing on right beside her. And so I would get information, and they would tell me exactly what they wanted to tell their loved one. And I love this because the loved one, my client was able to take this home with them. So even if some of it didn't make sense, I would still write it down so that psychic amnesia would hit. And so I would write it down. Now, whenever I do trans mediumship, or I do, whenever I'm going up higher, what I would do is, instead of drawing a person, I do spirit art, and I would just go ahead and just draw and see, and I would see symbols on my head of what to draw. And then spirit, okay, it wouldn't be a loved one, it's a overall spirit would tell me what to write. It would be a very loving message for everybody. So kind of like, very philosophical. And I'm going to show you those at a different time. But that's how it's a little bit different. It's not a loved one that my client knows. It is somebody from the spiritual realm that wants to give a message that is not attached to anybody. Okay, just like my Sarah, she likes to give messages one time a week. And so I do that. I go on and I give everybody a message and actually write it down. And I'm writing her life story in a book, and she's telling me what to write. And so it is totally different than just regular mediumship. But if you are into art, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so this is another thing that you can do is an aurograph. And an aurograph is more of a psychic reading. So whenever even if you do cards, you can make it into a drawing. Or if you're getting something about somebody's life, like it is here, you can talk about their childhood and go through each phase of their life. And I love the circle. Okay, I love the circle because a circle is continuing. Life is continuing, and it doesn't matter what happens in the circle. Now, this is another one. This is free flowing. So again, whatever symbol that you have in your head, or if you have cards that you want to transition into artwork, and it all comes together beautifully, and you just follow your intuition, and this is how you can get out of your head, which I absolutely love. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing now how it works for me. Now, it may not work for you. These techniques may not work for you. You might find something else that works, but I feel like, explaining what works for me may work for somebody else. And I love watching other mediums, especially my friends, do mediumship. I'm at awe because I'm going, oh, that is just, I would have never been able to do that. I'm just at awe with everybody who does mediumship. So remember, the difference between mediumship and trance channeling and also conscious channeling can be different, but you can also combine it as well. But for me, I like to do all of that, but trance channeling, whenever you're doing trance and mediumship, sometimes it is a loved one who is coming through. But for me, it's somebody totally different, which is a total different entity that is not connected to my client. But mediumship is whenever your whole purpose of mediumship is to connect with a loved one that your client knows. So there is a little bit of difference, and it can be different. So I wish you well. And if you are practicing with mediumship and or psychic or trance, continue to do so. And I do want to let you know that things change. When you think you're doing a great job and you're going, oh, I feel comfortable with this, Spirit's going to change the way that you do readings. I guarantee you, because you're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving. And the more that you do it, the easier it will become, because it is like a muscle memory. So in mediumship, if you're getting frustrated, practice with people that you know, okay? Because it's a safe zone, and you can practice, you can mess up, and it doesn't matter. Because if you hear a no, the no is actually good, because you can turn that no into yes. And when you do, it is such a powerful reading. All right, everybody, I wish you much luck, and I will see you next.